Good night of Shabbos. One of the chapters that we read this week is chapter 4 of Pirkei Avot. And although I've had other videos dealing with this particular thing, I have a twist that has to be added. Ben Zoma Omer, Ben Zoma would say, Ezehu Chacham, who is wise? Halomed mikol adam, he learns from every person. As it says, Mikol Melamdai Hiskalti, from all of my teachers I've grown wise. Kedusecha sichali, for your statutes are my conversation. And then he goes on to describe not just who is wise, who is rich, who is strong and powerful, and then who is honored. And you have to ask yourself, why? What difference does it make? What does it have to do with piety, which is the essence of the Pirkei Avot? They're supposed to make us pious. They're supposed to lead us to what is called Milsa de Chasidusa, acts of exceptional piety. What does piety have to do with being smart? And the answer is that all of the piousness, all of the piety, all that God wants from us leads us to certain completions, certain perfections. As Maimonides says, the mitzvos and the Torah, the oral law, lead us to the perfection of one's character, one's emotions. Intellectual perfection requires the development of understanding abstract thought. It's not enough to be logical, to be mathematical. One must understand God. One must understand godliness, which is impossible for the human being to understand, but we have to learn to extrapolate, to understand the abstract. In order to have a clear understanding of that which is unknowable, that which is beyond human understanding, one has to be perfect in one's emotional status. You have to be a person in charge of yourself, in control of yourself, in balance and in harmony. You have to be a person that's there always, that's on time, that overcomes all challenges, it's not afraid, that's kind and is consistent, etc., etc. And that's how you become, that's the kind of person you become when you follow the Torah. But then you have to develop the ability to understand that which is abstract. And that requires greater understanding than the halachic norm. You have to go into things that are difficult to conceive of and create new understandings and new rules and new laws and new perspectives. And that's the perfection of the intellect. Now, what's the purpose of all of that? The purpose of all character development and the purpose of all intellectual development is to be able to know God. And the knowledge of God is what Rambam says is prophecy. And the Talmud says, prophecy only rests upon one who is wise, one who is rich, and one who is powerful. Then also it says it only rests upon one who is humble. The question is, if you're not smart, you're not a chochem like Moses, how can you hope for prophecy? And so Ben Zoma says, no, this is the possibility or within the capacity of every Jew. In fact, it's within the capacity of every human being. For wisdom, it says that you have to be wise, is only that you have to open yourself up to wisdom, to discover things. You have to have curiosity and not limit yourself. And you do that by being able to hear the opinions of every person. Wealth isn't a lot of money. Wealth is a status of one's attitude. Wealth is a sense of well-being, a sense that everything is good and you are happy and satisfied. Because if you're not satisfied, no matter how much money you have, you're not really wealthy. The money controls you, you don't control the money. A person is only wealthy when he feels that he has everything he needs and is happy with it. And what is power? Power is the ability to do that which is necessary to do for any challenge that comes up to the human being. And that's a person who learns to control himself. For every stage, in every phase of a person's persona, in every phase of a person's conduct, in every phase of the challenges that we meet, you have to learn to overcome your impulses, to overcome your animal instincts, your emotions. And when you're in control of your emotions, then nothing stands in your way. No fear, no sadness, no sense of despair. You don't give in to what other people say. You do things positively. This is a person who's in charge of himself, who overcomes his emotion in order to do that which is necessary. That's a gibor. To be powerful in your emotions, to overcome any instinct that limits you, doesn't let you do what you need to do. For that is strength. That's the strength of the person that can stand up to any situation. That's the gvura, that's the strength that's necessary to lead you to prophecy. Humility requires you to feel that others are important, and they're even more important than yourself. Because had they had your skills and your abilities, they would be better than you. And therefore, you treat them as your superiors. So what happens when you treat others superior to yourself? They like you and they listen to you. That person treats me nicely because he thinks I'm important. I'll listen to him. And so that makes you honored in their eyes, and God makes you honored because you honor others. And that allows your words to be well received. And so this is the formula for a person to know God and understand God, and to be able to communicate to others that they should do the same, and they will listen to you. And the reason why this is Ben Zoma who says this, why is Ben Zoma the one, the author of saying this? Ben Zoma is the author who says this because Ben Zoma himself was the wisest of all men in Jerusalem. He was the greatest scholar. Even Rav Elazar ben Azariah, who was the head of the academy, said he couldn't win the argument until Ben Zoma participated. Ben Zoma was the greatest scholar. He also was the wealthiest man in Jerusalem. And he apparently must have been a very powerful person as well. And so he tells people, you don't have to be just like me, as wealthy as me, as smart as me. You just have to do like me. You have to have an inquisitive mind. You have to overcome your emotional limitations. And you have to be happy with what you have. And then make sure that everybody is cherished and everybody's honored. And so when you have information to share with others, they will listen to you. You will be on your way to prophecy, and people will listen to you.